Welcome, figure skating fans, to another edition of Game of Thrones. Or as NSYNC once told us, it's gonna be May. Alright, well, this week on This and That, I did a little thing that the literary folk refer to as foreshadowing. Now, I asked Jonathan Byer, why is Tarasova laying it on thick about Eteri? If you recall, during the winter months, Eteri, Plushenko, and Tarasova were all in a big war of words that went on Instagram. It went all the way up to the Kremlin, and you can certainly look back through our archives and revisit all of this to see how the cookie crumbled. Well, it turns out that as Tarasova was publicly espousing support for Eteri, a wonderful, fanatical coach, under and behind the scenes, things were brewing. You see, today, the Russian media announced that Alexandra Trusova is leaving coach Eteri Tutberidze for Evgeni Plushenko's Ice Angels. And while that is true, there is so much more to this story, as you see, and we will go through the articles that have come out, and then I will explain the additional information that we have. You see, according to Sport24, the Russian skater Alexandra Trusova changed her coach, moving from Eteri Tutberidze to Evgeni Plushenko. A source familiar with the situation said that this was due to the dissatisfaction of the 15-year-old athlete with her position in the group and the lack of proper attention. Now Tutberidze is in Detroit and helping her daughter, Diana Davis, who is also engaged in figure skating, enter the training process and establish life. Well, she may be with her for quarantine. That's a little dramatic. Although I'm sure Igor Shpilband, the political master that he is, would certainly love to pretend that Eteri is a part of the coaching team, as that is equal to additional points at the Nationals and certainly helped get Diana to the World Junior Figure Skating Championships. Recently, the girls of the Tutberidze group did not feel the support of the coach even online. For some time, she has not been in touch with them. Well, how about before the European Championships when she was on vacation in Miami? For Trusova, this has all more become a problem because she had long been worried she was not given the proper attention in the group, although she was first to jump in quadruple jumps. The boiling point was the fact that Anna Sherbakova was the favorite in the group of the choreographer Daniil Gleikenhaus. According to rumors, one of the reasons for the departure of Yevgenia Medvedeva at the time was precisely Daniil, who devoted most of his time to the Olympics to Alena Zagitova. Trusova felt unnecessary in the Tutberidze group, as part of which she began to decline, the source said. Recall that at the 2020 European Championships in Graz, Trusova took third place, losing to the other skaters of the Tutberidze group, Alena Kosternaya gold and Anna Sherbakova silver. Skater will work with Plushenko's group. Now, this is interesting because if you recall, this has been brewing for some time. There have been rumors about this, that this would all take place. And another article, in addition, says, as is known from sources, as my scrolls, Tutberidze has been in the United States with a daughter for a couple of months and is not always in touch with students, because of which she began to get nervous. For example, the doctor of the national team, Filip Shevetsky, noted that in conditions of self-isolation, Olympic champion Alena Zagitova often turns to him for advice. Now, Filip Shevetsky is the young, shady doctor who is often seen at the boards, which is, so common in skating. And he also takes selfies with the top skaters. Very professional for a doctor. For Trusova, this has all more to become a problem, because she had long been worried that she was not given proper attention of the group. Another problem was that Anna Sherbakova became the favorite of Daniil Gleikenhaus. Now Tutberidze is in Detroit and is helping her daughter enter the training process with coach Igor Shpilband. They talked about how Trusova fell to the clear third ranking in the group. The decision to go to Evgeny Plushenko seems logical, given that the first coach after Trusova moving to Moscow was Alexander Volkov, who now works at Plushenko's Ice Angels. In the new group, where the main stars are now participants in the World and European Championships, Stanislava Konstantinova and Ekaterina Ryabova, who skates for Azerbaijan. Trusova will definitely not be deprived of attention. Probably with the new mentor, the skater will be able to overcome a small crisis that began in the middle of the last competitive season. There are a number of high-level skaters in Krustalny, in addition to Zagitova, Sherbakova, and Kosternaya, There is the junior world champion Kamila Valieva, as well as her peers Daria Usushova and Maya Kromic. It is difficult to give everyone equal attention. Largely because of this problem, two-time world champion Evgenia Medvedeva left the Tutberidze group 2 years ago. Now, also, there is one more because Tarasova has weighed in. And you see honored trainer for the USSR, Tatiana Tarasova, shared her opinion of the possible transition of Alexandra Trusova to Evgeni Plushenko. According to Tarasova, Tutberidze still has many pupils who can replace Alexandra Trusova. Tarasova noted that it happens that students move from one coach to another, but changing a coach is always a lottery. The honored coach stated that Plushenko took a very good girl, who is the world record holder under coaching, and Tarasova considers this a huge responsibility for Plushenko. I would like for him to succeed. This is an opportunity for him to join the coaching family, said Tarasova, whose words are quoted by the championship. Earlier in the media, there was information that the Russian figure skater, bronze medalist of the European Championships, Alexandra Trusova, notified the coaching staff and Eteri Tutberidze of her desire to stop cooperation. It is also reported that Trusova will join the team of Evgeny Plushenko. Plushenko himself declined to comment, offering to wait a few days. According to the rules of the Figure Skating Federation, in order to transfer from one team to another, the skater must officially announce the new coach. And for this, we say thank you, Evgeny Plushenko, because the drama and the hits will keep on coming. Now, I wanted to discuss the foreshadowing. Yes, we did know that this was happening, and we need to know that why this all seems. Do we really think that Plushenko is going to be coaching Alexandra Trusova? Because if you remember, when Evgenia Medvedeva left Eteri Tutberidze, Eteri raged a war in the media which was aided by Tatiana Tarasova helping Medvedeva go to Brian Orser. And all of this took place that really destroyed Evgenia Medvedeva in the Russian press and her reputation. But it seems now that this has been a little bit more planned out. We have Trusova going to Plushenko. We have Tarasova, who has been espousing wonderful things about the fanatical coach of Eteri and just saying that, students leave sometimes. It happens from one coach to another. And she wishes Plushenko much luck. But look at the power behind the throne. You have Alexander Volkov, who taught Alexandra Trusova how to jump. But we also have another coach from Sambo 70 who is leaving. We have Sergei Rozanov, who I like to lovingly refer to as Hot Sergei in order to distinguish him from Sergei Dudikov. Now, Sergei Rozanov has been working with the junior and the novice skaters. He works with the junior skaters before they compete on the Junior Grand Prix circuit. And lately there have been stories that multiple members of the coaching staff have been dissatisfied because they are doing the grunt of the work and that they do not get as much money, credit, and attention as Eteri and now her favorite Daniil Gleikenhaus. Now this is interesting because as the skaters are vying for attention, there has become a clear hierarchy within the results between Kosternaya, Sherbakova, and then Trusova. And even though Trusova was planning up to 5 quads, it did seem like she would be a clear third-place finisher. Her skating skills and choreography are not up to the level of the other skaters. Now, it is interesting because if we have Rozanov and we have Volkov that are working behind Plushenko, but Plushenko will be taking the credit, but it is largely known and believed that that is more likely for politics, attention, and shows. This is kind of an organization. And then we have Tarasova, who is aligned with Plushenko, who is giving further media and political pull. So they seem to have quite the organization prepared to politically combat Eteri Tutberidze. It has seemed in recent months that Eteri is seemingly fashioning herself after Irina Wiener. She has been spending more time with her daughter, not always with training. We saw them over the New Year being on vacation together in Florida as her own skaters were preparing for their first European Figure Skating Championships. I thought that was interesting as they were in the hard training and she was posting photos of herself out to dinner and, in bikinis. And it's interesting because, these are the skaters that really need the preparation. Now, that's not to say that Eteri is not a coach, but she's really more of the manager overseer. She comes in, she is directing everything, And she is kind of more of an arena figurehead, where she comes in, says what she wants to get done, and she lets her underlings do the grunt work. Now, it was all going perfectly planned, but you must remember that Irina Wiener had won several Olympics as a coach in rhythmic gymnastics before this sort of situation took place, and figure skating is far more complicated with much more characters, politics, and figures even than rhythmic gymnastics. Also, things to point out. We really could not expect Trusova to just stay in Eteri's group forever. If someone is going to attempt 4 quadruple jumps in their free skate, they are clearly a very ambitious person. For her to just accept the 3rd place and to just be happy with that, it's very unlikely. Human nature said that she would have to make a move sooner rather than later, with the Olympics approaching. Also interesting that, there had been rumors, are the Sambo 70 girls actually training during this time? That's very unclear, but Sasha Trusova was not there, was certainly not training. She has been in the country with her family. So also interesting. Now, the fan group always loved Trusova. And it was interesting because as Kosternaya became more and more beloved around the world, it was kind of seen in the Russian message boards, that Kosternaya was kind of the Western skater. Many liked Sherbakova, but it was really Trusova who the most nationalistic fans and those who were most loyal to Eteri really supported. There has been a lot of push in the Russian fandom and in the Russian press to allow quadruple jumps in the short program. Tarasova has been speaking of this, and these fans were the ones that when Westerners would complain about the direction of the sport, these were the ones that would be saying things like "you are afraid of Russia," "you are Russophobic," and those sorts of things, and they were really talking about the progress of Trusova. So this is interesting. Will they still be loyal to Trusova, or will they turn on her like Xenia Medvedeva? You see, it's interesting that Tarasova would support quadruple jumps in the short program, because if you remember, Kosternaya, who is certainly the top skater of Eteri, does not have consistent quadruple jumps and has been injured twice trying to learn a quadruple salchow. Now, if Trusova could do quadruple jumps in the short program, it would certainly give her an advantage over Alena Kosternaya and Anna Sherbakova. Anna Sherbakova can do quad jumps as well, and that's important to note. Now, let's look at what else is going on, because it's not just about the current skaters. There are many skaters in development who are being primed for the Olympic Games and for after. And it's interesting that the rumors are that skaters Veronika Zhilina and her younger sister Alyona Zhilina will also be following Alexandra Trusova to Plushenko's Ice Angels. Now, if they continue to work with Sergei Rozanov, that will be certainly beneficial, as well as Alexander Volkov, who actually taught Trusova how to rotate. So that is rather smart for them. So we'll have to see what happens in the coming months. Do you think that this is a good situation and a good plan for Alexandra Trusova? Who do you think is next? Will any of the boys follow suit? And what will happen as the Game of Thrones continues in the world of Figuren Katani? Thank you. Have a great day. As a postscript, we do not know yet how Alexandra Trusova will be able to get flowers to Eteri Tutberidze outside of Detroit. Perhaps she can call 1-800-FLOWERS. Perhaps then the next scandal could be that the flowers weren't expensive enough. We'll have to see. Thanks so much. Bye now. As a postscript, we do not know yet how Alexandra Trusova will be able to get flowers to Eteri Tutberidze outside of Detroit. Perhaps she can call 1-800-FLOWERS. Perhaps then the next scandal could be that the flowers weren't expensive enough. We'll have to see. Thanks so much. Bye now.